What is up guys, Stark here. In today's character spotlight, I am taking a look at the 3-star from the banner for the Onigashima event, and that is going to be Fūma Kotarō. So Fūma Kotarō is a 3-star assassin who will go up to level 70, and at level 70 he will have 8,844 HP and 7,091 attack. This will rank him 92nd overall in HP and 78th overall in attack. If you do decide to max him out, he will end up with 13,991 HP and 11,597 attack. Now I know I don't usually talk about this anymore, but as for the artwork for this character, it's definitely one of my favorites in the game, especially for a 3rd-star Ascension artwork. I definitely prefer that over his 4th Ascension, and the thumbnail that I used for this video is absolutely phenomenal. You know, I definitely do like this character design and the artwork. Unfortunately, this character is not like overly good, but he's definitely not a bad character. He's kind of like an AoE version of Jack, just kind of toned down to be a 3-star servant as opposed to a 5-star servant. So moving on here to his skills, his first skill is going to be Sabotage B+. This will target all enemies and it will decrease their attack for 3 turns as well as decrease their critical rate for 3 turns. So this is a nice debuffer skill, allowing you to get a maximum of 10% for the attack decrease and 20% for the crit decrease. So overall it's a very solid skill. For his second skill is going to be the Ninjutsu A+++, and this will be able to target one ally and apply evasion to them for 1 turn, as well as increasing their critical star drop rate. So this is a really good skill in the fact that you could choose who you use this on, as opposed to it being locked into solely on Kotarō himself. You know, if this was just for Kotarō himself, it wouldn't really be that much of a great skill. Yeah, sure, I'd give him the evasion for 1 turn, but he doesn't really need an increase to his star drop rate, so being able to use it on an additional ally would definitely benefit the team more than using it on himself, in most situations anyway. And then for his 3rd and final skill is going to be the Paranoia C, which will decrease their debuff resistance for 1 turn. So this will be a AoE buff, and at max level it will go ahead and decrease their debuff resistance by 100%. So anytime you have a character that has a chance to apply a debuff, it'll go ahead and succeed. So moving on here to his class skills, he does have 1, and this is going to be the Presence Concealment A+, which will increase his critical star drop rate by 10.5%. So now moving on here to his Ascension. For his first Ascension, he's going to need 4 Assassin pieces, as well as 30,000 Quantum pieces. For his second Ascension, he will need 8 Assassin pieces, 15 Evil Bones, and 100,000 Quantum pieces. For his 3rd Ascension, he is going to need 4 Assassin Monuments, 13 Void Dust, 4 Octuplet Crystals, and 300,000 Quantum pieces. And then for his 4th and final Ascension, he is going to need 8 Assassin Monuments, 7 Octuplet Crystals, 5 Black Beast Grease, and 900,000 Quantum pieces. And then to go ahead and max out one of his skills from level 1 to level 10, you are going to need 12 Gems of Assassin, 12 Magic Gems of Assassin, 12 Secret Gems of Assassin, 20 Void Dust, 30 Evil Bone, 20 Seeds of Yggdrasil, 10 Claws of Chaos, 1 Crystallized Lore, and 13,600,000 Quantum pieces. So now moving on here to his command cards and his Noble Phantasm. For his command card deck, he's going to have 3 Quick, 1 Arts, and 1 Buster. So he's going to be a quick, heavy deck-centered character, and he's going to generate a lot of stars, especially with his Noble Phantasm, which is also quick. And this is going to be an AoE Noble Phantasm that will deal heavy damage to all enemies, as well as inflict confusion on all of those enemies for 5 turns. And confusion has a chance to prevent that character from using their skills. There is also an interlude quest you could do to further power up this Noble Phantasm, and this will add an additional effect which will decrease the defense of all enemies for 3 turns, and this will be a 20% decrease, and it will also increase the amount of damage he does overall. So overall, this is a very solid Noble Phantasm. It's going to be doing quite a bit of damage. It is one of the few AoE assassin damaging Noble Phantasms in the game, and it being a quick Noble Phantasm means you will be generating a ridiculous amount of stars, which is kind of why he gets the comparison to Jack as an AoE version, because of his Noble Phantasm. So overall, he's a very solid character. You're going to be doing quite a bit of damage with him, as well as getting a ton of stars. So now moving on to some of the craft essences you can use on this character. First up is going to be his maximum bond craft essence, which is going to be the Oni's Mask. So while equipped, this will increase quick card effectiveness of all of your allies by 15% while on the field. So overall, this is your generic quick card effectiveness increased craft essence, which definitely isn't a bad option considering he is primarily used in quick teams. However, there are some other options you can use if you do not have this craft essence, or like if the bond isn't high enough for you to get it yet. So obviously the first other option for craft essence is going to be something that'll boost his quick card effectiveness. So you could use the Gander for the 15% increase, or the Imaginary Round for the 25% increase. Another solid option could be the Fragment of 2030, which will gain you more stars every single turn. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. You're just going to focus on getting more stars to do more crit damage. You could also go ahead and use a Fox's Night Dream, which might be a better option than a Fragment of 2030. You're only going to be getting 4 stars at max limit break, but you're also going to be getting an increase in your Noble Phantasm gain, which will help, him get his Noble Phantasm off more frequently. He does have a pretty hard time getting his Noble Phantasm gauge filled up completely, so that could be a pretty good alternative to help him along the way. So now moving on to some of the servants you can use with this character. First up is going to be Alexander. So Alexander is going to be a pretty solid option to use here with Kotarō. He's going to make good uses of the stars that Kotarō will get, and he also makes good use of his skills, being able to increase the odds of his charm succeeding. He also does have a quick buff that can be for the entire team, which is a pretty solid skill, as well as a charisma to further boost the attack. And like I said, he will make good use of these stars that Kotarō will get, and then Alexander can take them in and do crit damage with them. And then his Noble Phantasm is also going to be a quick AoE based damaging Noble Phantasm, so you're going to be able to combo those pretty well. And he does also have 3 quick cards in his deck, so you could do a lot of quick chains, and you're just going to be overall having tons of stars every single turn, and overall it's just a very solid combination. Next up on the list here is going to be Shuten Doji. So Doji will benefit similarly to Alexander in the fact that you could use Kotaro's skills to increase the debuff success rate of Doji skills, so you'll be able to get the charm off more frequently, and that is an AoE charm as well, so having that being able to work is basically like a full turn stun, which is really nice. And then you also have Doji with her huge amount of debuffs on her Noble Phantasm, comboing that with Kotaro's Sabotage skill, and overall you're just going to be debuffing the enemy heavily. She does also have 2 quick cards, so you can kind of get a little bit of quick chains in there as well, and it's just a a pretty solid combination as well. Next up on the list we have Jack the Ripper. So this might not be the best combination, but the fact that you have the single target star generator and AoE star generator means you're going to be getting a ridiculous amount of stars every single turn. So if you could just plug in a huge crit damage dealer, these 2 characters will supply tons of stars. You'll never run out, and that's why she's on the list. She does have a 4 quick deck as well, so you're going to be doing a ton of quick chains. Like I said, you'll never be short in crit stars or anything like that. And then last but not least, we have Waiver. Waiver here is going to be very useful in increasing the Noble Phantasm gauge of Kotarō. As I've said previously, he does struggle a little bit in that department, and is pretty difficult for him to get his gauge filled. So having Waiver skills in here, which will all increase his gauge, is definitely going to be a huge help to Kotarō. And he does also provide, good buffs, crit strength, defense, and attack. So overall, he's going to be a very good combination. He does only have 1 quick card, which is kind of a bit of a drawback, but overall his positives definitely outweigh his negatives for this character. So now moving on here to his actual star rankings. First up for his stats, he's going to get a 1.7 out of 5. Him being a 3-star assassin really ranks him kind of near the mid to bottom of the list for stats. And then for his skills, he's going to get 2.5 stars here. He does have a solid set of skills, but they kind of do feel all over the place, and they don't really flow together that well. So I couldn't really give him too much more as far as just an average 2.5 out of 5. Next up for his Noble Phantasm, I am going to give him 3 stars for this. He does have a pretty solid Noble Phantasm, does a good bit of damage, as well as going to be getting a ton of stars back from it. And you do have a chance to inflict confusion, but it's not really a good chance. If it is max, then yeah, it'll be at 70%. But overall, it's not really going to be that high of a chance. And overall, it's just a very unreliable second effect for the overcharge. For his survivability, I am giving him 3 stars here for this, which might be a little bit high, but he does have his ninjutsu skill, which can apply evasion for that 1 turn. Now, normally you're not going to be using this on Kotarō, but the fact that he does have it, and the fact that it is available to be used on him, definitely can't be overlooked, so I'm going to give him the 3 stars because of that. And he does also have the Sabotage, which will help decrease the attack of all enemies, which as a result will help, keep Kotarō and his allies alive longer. Next up for his versatility is going to be 2.5 stars. He is pretty versatile right now in the game, being able to do an AoE Noble Phantasm as an assassin, and you are going to be getting a ton of stars with him as well, so you can definitely plug him into those type of teams. But outside of that, he really lacks in damage and pretty much everything else. His support skills aren't very helpful as far as support. It's just a few debuffs. And yeah, you know, he's just kind of an average character, and he does have some good uses in certain team setups, but overall, you're probably going to opt for other characters. So that will give his overall ranking a 2.5 out of 5. I do wish this was a little bit higher. I do like this character. Like I said, I really do like his character design and his artwork. So it is a little disappointing that he did kind of fall as just an average character at 2.5. Maybe I was being a little bit harsh, but that is the ranking he will end up with. So that's going to wrap up this character spotlight, guys. I will be here with Kotaro's Noble Phantasm. Don't forget to check the links below to my Twitter, Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. And I will see you guys next time.
Immortal Chaos Brigade!